Hello and welcome to this evening's United View. I'm Ben, and of course you would have watched us on Friday night's preview show. And to be honest, we didn't predict a 2-0, but we would more went for 3. But a 2-0 would do anyway, won't it? Tonight on the show we'll be looking ahead to Newcastle, but we are going to start by reviewing the Sunderland game. Before we do that, let's introduce you to our amazing panel tonight, full of Reds ready to go. On the show this evening, making his first appearance, our Retford Red, John. Thank you for coming on, mate.
It's alright, pal. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you with us. Steve's looking forward to you coming on. He's been a bit like a fanboy the last few weeks. Are you looking forward to being on the show with Steve?
Yeah, I've been, excited to see what it's about. And I don't really watch that much YouTube because some fans annoy me with their just depressive opinions about us and expecting us to be title holders. It just does me head in. That's why I'm blocked by mostly every Red on it. But,
Well, John, you could be one of those tonight. On the show this evening, joining John, we've got Steve, who I've just mentioned. Steve, good to have you back on, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You see what I mean about John? He's gold. He'll bother what he says. He'll tweet what he wants. Quality,
hey,
mate.
Steve. Some people would say he's a young version of a Steve. I think he does agree. Also on this evening's show, we've got Liam on neutral. Liam, thank you for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me on, Ben. Been a while. Been travelling, but it's great to be back on and talking football.
Yeah, been travelling. He throws that one in there, doesn't he? Liam's just got back from New York. There we go. Let's get that one out of the way. Yes, we're jealous. And also on the show this evening, no Terrar Louis van Gaal campaign just yet, but of course he is the man who brought Terrar Fergie to life. I think he kind of regrets that a little bit. It's Pete Molyneux on the show. Pete, thank you for coming on, mate.
Pleasure as always, Ben.
Looking forward to chatting current football with you, mate. Last time we spoke would have been the Legend series and transfer deadline, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Legends one we did, that was good. Transfer deadline was a bit of a damp squid. Not the programme, but the last day.
Yeah, it always is bad, isn't it, on the last day when business doesn't go away. However, business kind of did go away against Sunderland. I kind of done that like a professional TV presenter, didn't I? Let's talk about the Sunderland game then, and of course you can get involved. Tweet us at United View or comment in the comment box. Make sure you post a link on your Twitter. Let's get all Reds from around the world involved in tonight's show. Pete, we'll start with you, my friend. How did you find the Sunderland game? Normal stuff first half. However, second half it picked up, didn't it?
Yeah. It's a similar pattern now, a similar service we're being given. Overall, it's certainly tame for about 60 minutes. The tempo was missing again, and some of the passing wasn't great, and it didn't have you on the edge of your seat. But we're willing to forgo that for the time being. Hoping it'll click into place. I always felt the goals had come. I thought Sunderland had struggled to keep us out for 90 minutes, and we found a way through eventually. But we toiled and we had to huff and puff. But 3 points and a win, we'll take it.
Yeah, especially with the games coming up. Steve, we were talking before about how important Sunderland win would be with the big games coming up. We didn't really get the performance we wanted. Do you want to sum up the first half for us quickly?
Yeah, like Pete said, very sloppy. I thought 20 minutes, I thought we were defending absolutely awfully. Again, in the final third, we were giving away silly balls. I think nearly all the forwards were guilty of it. And then, like I say, they were going straight through us. They had a good few chances, to be fair, Sunderland. De Gea's made a good save. And the first half ended, and I think it was just the same old, to be honest. One a great, but obviously Van Gaal I'd make a change at half time, didn't he? So
yeah, and it did make a bit of a difference, didn't it? John, I mean, what would you like how are you finding the Louis van Gaal way at the moment? Did you find it an overall improvement on what we've been seeing against Sunderland, or was it more of the same for you?
First half, it was the most boring thing I've seen. But it's just hard at the minute because you can't complain with where we are, but with the run of fixtures we've got at the minute coming up, if we don't start performing better, we're just going to get turned over. And Liverpool today played really well, and Arsenal are getting the victories. So but we just need to. Like people are moaning and stuff, but we've got players that are playing well. Our defence is actually alright, even though what people say. And we've got Dave to stop it anyway, so it's not too bad. Either. But
Yeah, you don't need 11 players on the pitch. You just need a Dave, don't you,
uh,
somewhere in there. Of course, Liam, John makes a great point there. We're not exactly playing well. United aren't playing that great. Liverpool are looking better. Arsenal are looking better. Should we be threatened by that, or should we be looking like, hey, this is ours to lose now?
Yeah, I think I see a lot of people still complaining on Twitter about Man U's performances. They're not up to scratch. The goals from Rooney were just as a tap in and a penalty. They expect more, but at the end of the day, for Man U, from the start, it's just Champions League. Yes, Liverpool won today. They looked really good. The goals from Henderson and Coutinho looked top class. Arsenal, they had a really good performance as well, won today. So I think, Man U, the run of fixtures are going to get harder. Performances may need to pick up. But I think it's 3 points against Sunderland. It's what they need. I don't think you can really complain when it's 3 points. Yes, okay, it was a bit sloppy. Then it started to pick up. When the 12th man started saying attack, attack, attack. Maybe Man U did listen to that a bit and they started going for it. All right, yeah, maybe the red card helped as well. But it's still 3 points on the board. And I think if you're a Man U fan, I would happily take that.
Yeah, and of course we will take the 3 points. However, we do want to see a performance soon. Someone who didn't really perform, Pete, Angel Di Maria. He was taken off at half time. I mean, Steve is a big fan, or one of the people, who stands up and says, look, not just about Angel Di Maria, what are the players around him doing to help him? Where do you stand with him? You've seen a lot of players, haven't you, down through the years, playing at Old Trafford, playing for Manchester United. How was Di Maria's first half performance for you?
Well, it wasn't working for him. He was trying all his little tricks and they weren't coming off. I think for a couple of months he's just a little bit jaded, and there's probably no surprise in that. I mean, when you think the season he had with Madrid last year and winning the European Cup, the Champions League, that goes on right to the end of May. Then he's off to play for Argentina, and they got to the final, didn't they? So he had a full run there, and then he joins a new club and for a world record fee. So he's carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders there, and he's probably just physically and a bit mentally tired. And I don't go with the soft footballers thing, but I think playing at that level for the last 18 months has probably jaded him a little bit. So whether Van Gaal needs to it's too late in the season to send him away for a break, but maybe just ease off a little bit. We've got other options. I think next season we'll see the real Di Maria. But I think he's just got to nurse him through this next 11 games and a few more in the FA Cup. I don't think it's a crisis. I just think the guy's tired.
Yeah, and of course you can't blame a footballer for being tired. However, when Raheem Sterling claimed he was tired, I reckon every United fan was throwing a joke left, right, and centre about him. But no, it's right.
That was the end of August, Ben.
Yeah, that is true. Steve, we'll come over to you, mate. You said that today was going to be a bit more positive, or wasn't going to get you into a rant, but I do expect a few strong words here from you. Angel Di Maria's first half performance, of course, Twitter fans went into overload. Other rival club supporters saying he's not good enough to play for United, yet alone the Premier League. What did you make of Angel Di Maria's first half, and do you think calls for him to be dropped Newcastle are premature, or?
To be honest, I think Pete said it bang on there. I think you look at the season he had with Madrid, straight into a World Cup, straight with us. He started brilliant with us, and to be honest, ever since Christmas, no one's performed. That's what I keep saying. But Angel Di Maria he was, I wouldn't say quite poor. He was poor, but he gets the ball that often. And he's still a most exciting player. He'll still whip a ball in. I think he hit a 2 to the back post, and Rocco was in there, or one that we were begging for one of the strikers get onto it. But I think the one that cost him, attack down the right. I didn't know why he played down the right anyway, to be honest. And I think it was Valencia that overlapped him, and he's tried to do a back heel, and they've gone straight on the attack and nearly scored. And to be honest, I think that's what cost him. He didn't really recover after that, and obviously he got hauled off at half time. Because like you say, it wasn't working, and Van Gaal's one of these managers. If it isn't working and he's got something in his head, he'll change it and it come off.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue. I wouldn't say drop him. I agree with Pete. I think he might just need leaving out for Newcastle or just on the bench, and we can bring him on like we did with Januzaj. But I wouldn't rest him for too long, mate, because we've got Arsenal week Monday, and
Yeah.
I think he's tailor made for that game. Tailor made.
So it could be the make game of him, couldn't it? As a United player, anyway. Big performance from him will be needed. Get involved on Twitter at the United View. Comment in the comment box. Do you want to see Di Maria dropped for Newcastle or rested? Whichever word you want to use. Should he start against Newcastle? Yes or no? Comment box it or tweet us at the United View. Quickly, just having a quick look at the comment box. Hello to King James, who says Di Maria thrived in Madrid because defenders were worried about Bale and Ronaldo. Now he is the main man. Hello as well to Dibadov. I don't actually think that's how you say his name, but it's great. Di Maria's style relies on people moving in front of him. There isn't much movement, is there really? Also having a look and saying hello to Jamal, who says Di Maria is just another nanny. Inconsistent. John, I mean, there's so many views on Di Maria, but do you still get excited when you see his name on the team sheet? Do you still think he can come good at United?
Yeah, like you watch him and you get excited when he's on the ball, running with it. Like sometimes it don't come off, and the fans get a bit restless with him. But I'd rather have a player like Di Maria and Januzaj who take people on than Valencia, who just like anyone could do what. It's just because he's like massive that people are scared of him, kind of thing. Like Januzaj had their left back. We got him booked and had him all game. And Valencia, he got in the box and he still don't pass it. He was in 6-yard box and he turned around and it just does me head in. Like Januzaj got in and just tries to find people, and that's why Falcao's been struggling, in my opinion. They're not just, when we played Fulham, I just said the other day, 81 crosses. If you have Falcao in there with 81 crosses, he's going to get a goal.
Yeah.
So, it's not. I'd rather have 81 crosses than passing it back and forth with the defenders all game, to be honest. So,
yeah.
It just does me head in a bit.
Yeah, and it is, isn't it? It's the type of player needed for the team, and that's kind of, I get where Louis van Gaal's coming from when he says it's unbalanced. We're not using our best players the way they play their best, really, because the other players, for one, don't complement them, and two, don't do enough for them, really. Hello to at United Stocks, who says yes, return him to the squad for the big games, and then he has a point to prove. That's on Angel Di Maria being dropped for Newcastle. Liam, quickly, I don't want to focus this around single players too much, however, we do have to talk about Rooney in a minute. I don't know if you saw Match of the Day and Shearer's analysis on Falcao. I personally thought it was really harsh to bring him off. That, for me, that touch in the box was unbelievable to win that penalty. It's a brilliant bit of play by Falcao. That might have given him the confidence he needed. Then he shafted him off. I didn't see that. What did you make of Fellaini on and Falcao off in that instance? And did you see the analysis? Do you go down the lines of that he isn't moving around enough and his movement isn't good enough?
Well, with Falcao, I think honestly he would have buried that. I saw a Vine on Twitter, and the movement on, John O'Shea to actually turn on him. Actually, I think that he put it on his shoulder and then turned with it. I can't remember, but then I think he would have smacked that and put it in the back of the net. And I felt a bit sorry for him because he would have been that. He kind of wanted that goal, and I think he needed it. I've been saying this, quite a few weeks now, but I think it's a bit harsh, to take him off. But I think overall it was a not bad performance. If he got the goal, it would have gave him a bigger boost. But yeah, I think I don't know what kind of excuse I can keep making for Falcao. I still think, honestly, he's one of the best strikers in the world. Just going back to performances with Valesco, etc. I think his time will come, but he hasn't got long to prove now because obviously he's on loan still. He isn't a permanent. And if he does want to make the move from Monaco to United, I think he's going to just have to, I don't know, just hurry up, I guess. It's hard, isn't it, to put it into words, but, I think it's time. And if he can put the goals in, just make a few more assists, put that on his CV, you know, I mean, we all know what he's capable of. But he's got to definitely still prove himself, I think, if he does want the permanent, and if Van Gaal's going to pay the money to keep him on.
Yeah, and some big games coming up. We could really do with that 20-goal a season striker, eh? Talking about a 20-goal a season striker, Pete, that's Wayne Rooney, isn't it? Played him up front more often at the start of the season over the last 20 games. He could have easily have had 20 goals by now, couldn't he? What did you make of our leader up front against Sunderland?
Oh, very good. I mean, wherever you play Rooney, I'm a big Rooney fan. You know, I mean, he's played there now for 10 years, 15 years, 11 years at Old Trafford. And whilst Ronaldo was probably a better player in that period, Rooney's been the most consistent player and the most exciting player for United for 11 years. Not many players do that in our 130-odd year history. Rooney's a great player, and I think we'll only realise that probably once he's hung his boots up and he's gone. So I thought his performance yesterday he worked hard, he led the team, and he's always there. He'll always nick something any time during the game, you know. So I thought his performance was good. If I can just comment on Falcao, Ben, I think, you know, there's a lot of there can be a lot of fickleness in football. Even the most keenest fans have got the shortest memories, and there's a lot of fickleness on Twitter. One thing that isn't fickle and one thing you can't kid is the Old Trafford crowd. Falcao didn't have a good game yesterday, but when he came off, he was applauded by everybody in that ground. It was almost not quite a standing ovation. Those people know the quality of a guy like Falcao, and you're right, he could have done with a goal to boost his confidence, but that ovation he got when he came off would probably have lifted his heart as much as a goal. And it was great. I felt proud to be part of it.
I mean, I was going to say quickly, Pete, because there's a lot of people commenting in the comment box, and obviously you was there, wasn't you? And Steve was there as well at the game. So I'll throw this over. I'll throw the first question over to you, then we'll come to Steve quickly. This is just mainly about the Old Trafford faithful and bits and bobs coming out from the game. A lot of claims of booing, especially in the first half and at half time, because of the performance. Pete, did you hear that booing? Did you join in? Did you agree with it? Was you, you know?
Last September, Ben, I've watched United now for 50 years. I've never booed United. They'll put me in a wooden overcoat before I boo my own team anywhere, let alone Old Trafford. I don't believe you boo. That's just my opinion. You voice your opinion, but you do it quietly, say amongst your mates, maybe. The problem was, it was a dreadful situation where we went from having a corner right back to Blind to Evans and then back to the goalie. What came through loud and clear wasn't so much booing at that stage, but a very, very clear and loud attack, attack, attack. And that's a positive message, and that's fine. That's not booing. That's not being critical. Half time, if we're not winning, you'll sometimes get that. But it was a very hushed boo. It was only a few that did it, and if there was anybody around near me that did that, I'd just give them that stare. You know that there's what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? I wouldn't threaten them, but I just think, what are you about if you're there booing your own team? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that is true. And Steve, we'll come over to you as well, obviously, as you was there. Was it more of a mild groan than loud boos?
Yeah, I'd say restless, to be honest. Pete said it there. We were watching Ashley Young do his usual corners, smashing them about 90 yards when he's got legs like matchsticks. And it's come to the halfway line, and we're just saying to Johnny, or again, Johnny Evans, who I think he's been absolutely terrible. But again, what we're not doing is making a pass. All Johnny Evans does is just make the simple, safe thing. And he smashed it back 50 yards to De Gea. And he did it once, and they were restless then, like Pete said, attack, attack, attack. And then we had another corner 10 minutes later, and they did exactly the same again. That's where the restlessness come from at half time. Booing, I think, I felt for Falcao, to be honest, because obviously he won the penalty, Rooney scored it, and his number was straight up for Fellaini. And I think everyone would have fancied Falcao against 10 men and Sunderland, because United were just all over him after that. They didn't really offer anything. But I think that was the only time I think it might have been a few boos, the fact that Louis van Gaal bought him off. And Pete said it there brilliantly about United fans. Falcao is loved at that stadium. And it's not just because all based on his reputation. That guy works his socks off for that side. He has gone to so many places with us this season. And he takes stick in the papers. He gets stick from rival fans, which I'm not bothered about. But he puts his body about. He gets kicked down. He gets straight back up. And he'll have some more. Now, it was the same on Saturday. We were playing in front of him. And obviously all he was doing was coming short because he wanted to get on the ball and wanted to be involved. And Wes Brown was just smashing him every time. Now, I'll come back to what you said about I saw what Alan Shearer said this morning. And what Shearer doesn't realise is for the first 4 or 5 months of the season when Falcao was playing, he was making them runs, but we couldn't be bothered to even hit the ball to him. So again, it comes back to what shall he just stand there and get the abuse that Van Persie does or someone else, or Olivier Giroud or someone, or does he want to come in, get short, get the ball, and try and start something? And that's what Falcao does. And the United fans love him, mate. They absolutely love him. That song, even when he come off or when he scored a couple of goals at Old Trafford, it's fantastic to hear, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And he is a player we've needed for a long time. We needed someone like him in the side. And to be honest, I was going to come on and say before we went on to the Boo Boys, actually, watching this here analysis, I agreed with him for that one game. However, those movements he was doing at Christmas when he was popping in the 1 or 2 goal, one goal he scored a goal for 3 matches, didn't he? And then it completely went off again. He was doing it and no one was finding him. That's the frustrating thing. And Gene agrees with you guys. Louis van Gaal should have persisted with Falcao. He works hard and is loved by the fans. Everybody can see it. And on the booing, the United man, Sati, good to have you with us, mate, says if you want to boo, go to City. Mate, to be honest, they could offer us 2 for 1 and we still wouldn't go. Matt Burgess says booing does the opposite. It makes things worse. Ross says have a word. Dibadob says the booing further demoralises the players. Having a look over here, King James says Madrid fans always boo their players. Don't know why you're making it a big deal. It's negative. You know, people get onto us on Twitter and about us on the show. You're slating Falcao, you're slating this and that. It's negative. We're doing it to a small audience. There's 1,000 people at Old Trafford meant to be supporting Manchester United, and they're booing their team. It's never acceptable. That's like the small minority of fans who, fair enough, Moyes has gone now, and we're happy that Moyes has gone. Let's be honest, but none of us on this panel would have got in that aeroplane and flown it over Old Trafford. You support your club, you support your team, you support your manager. John, we'll come over to you, mate. Keeping on Sunderland, just want to quickly ask you, obviously Louis van Gaal before the game came out and said we won't win a league title because we don't have a 20-goal striker a season. Do you still think Rooney can do the job up front and can get those 20 goals a season if he's played there?
Yeah, it's annoying when he comes out and says stuff like that, because if Moyes came out and said that, then everyone would kick off because he's got Rooney, Van Persie and Falcao, and he's like trying to say, oh, they can't get us that many goals when they could probably get 20 goals each if we made more chances, kind of thing, which is like Rooney is one of my favourite players because he shows passion. His work rate's amazing. His finishings, like when we played Liverpool, them 2 finishes were brilliant. And you know, he don't moan. Like he gets dropped back to CM when he was in December. He was on goal scoring form, to be fair to him. And you know, I don't know how many goals he's on now, but I'm pretty sure he could get to 20 goals if he played striker from now on. But I think we need to play Falcao, main striker, 2 wingers either side. And like, to be fair to Young, who no one's mentioned yet, on Saturday he was amazing. Like even in first half he was really good, like taking on his players, left foot, right foot, because normally he just uses his right foot, but he caused them a lot of trouble. It was our only threat in first half, to be fair. And you know, he's up there with one of my favourite players this season with De Gea and Rooney and that. So I hope he starts against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Januzaj or Di Maria.
And hopefully, though, John, the Shaw injury isn't too bad. Is it an injury or has he just been rested? Do you know?
Apparently it was something to do with his thigh or something, because everyone was saying he was tired before the game on Twitter, and then I think someone said it was his thigh. But he seems to be getting injured a lot this season. But I rate Shaw, like his work rate, and he gets stuck in. Like, to be fair, every last year it was really bad defensively. So to see someone get up and back is, what you want to see. But Rowe's not a bad left back, but he just ain't got the same pace, and he's been our best centre back this year, so we need him centre back.
Yeah, and I mean, Liam, most United fans were crying when they saw Evans on the team sheet, not happy at all. However, we got a clean sheet out of that game. Do you think that would be a massive positive on the defence? And looking ahead, what are our top 4 chances now? We've got through that. We get through Newcastle as well, going to the big games on the back of 2 wins. Do you think it is United's to lose now, one of those top 4 spots?
Oh, I think it's just so tight, to still call it. I think it's Liverpool playing so well, Arsenal playing really well. Well, they seem to be on and off. Champions League not so good, but Premier League they seem to be picking up the points. If United can do the same, then yeah, I think it's between those 3. I think for me, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's a clean sheet today. I thought the first, looking at the highlights match of the day. Defoe, Wickham, he had that early chance as well. De Gea had to make a save, but then again, you have got David De Gea in goal, and he seems to do the job pretty much every time. So I don't know if I say, is the clean sheet based a lot on De Gea, but then the defence must be doing at least something. It's hard to judge still on the defence. I think obviously they still need to make a few changes there, but I think top 4 is definitely between those 3 teams. It's only a matter of time, Good result, 2-0, 3 points onto Newcastle. They're on a bit, and obviously I know they won 1-0 against Villa, but they're not on the best of form. They haven't really got much momentum with them to, mid-table maybe, I don't know. But, I think United can get 3 points there, then onto the FA Cup match, and then sort of keep going, keep fighting. If they can get the 12th man behind them, should be successful into the season for them.
Yeah, hopefully behind us with cheers and not boos. That's just a memo for the Arsenal game at Old Trafford. Right, anyway, let's move on. Pete, just quickly, I want to come to each of you and find out who your man of the match was for Sunderland. Pete, who impressed you? Who's your man of the match?
The man of the match. You'd probably say overall man of the match had to be Rooney with his goals, but I agree with what I think Jono said. Ashley Young was quite... he had a bit of life yesterday, so he'd be in there. Yeah, it was also a positive to see Januzaj, the way he played in the second half. He's not had a good second season, but he was lively yesterday. If I was pushed, Wayne Rooney yesterday.
Yeah, Wazza led from the front. Steve, did you enjoy watching Januzaj run into cul-de-sacs, or was you more pushed towards Young, or did you fancy Rooney for your man of the match?
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah, I'm with Jono on that, mate. I'm with Jono on that. I thought Ashley Young on Saturday. It's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but I thought he was superb. First and second half, like you say, usually I call it, he's a one-trick pony. What he has been for the time we've had him, he uses his end foot, step outside, and then a bang average ball in. But Van Gaal, he's probably our most improved player that's been there under Van Gaal. So Rooney, he got his 2 goals. I don't think it was anything special. And then I think Januzaj ran Young close, to be honest, because he come on, and like you're saying with the cul-de-sac comment, what he was doing was he was actually piecing all of his got together. He is fast, and he can use his feet, but he was doing it and hitting a ball in. The most impressed I was with him yesterday, because when he was having a shot, he was hitting it across goal, and he hit one, the goalkeeper parried it out, and they managed to clear it, and then Januzaj's hit one, it's come off the goalie, I think, and then Rooney's had a chance as well. So it looked like he's actually thinking to what he's doing, but I think Young was a clear man of the match for me yesterday.
Are you hearing this? Steve is praising Adnan Januzaj without even joking.
Well, I just hope he's not. I hope he's not one of them players that just performs against one side, because if I remember rightly, he arrived on the scene up at Stadium of Light against Sunderland, and he had 2 great goals that night. And like I say, I thought he was okay last season, but like Pete said, he's been terrible this season. absolutely terrible. You think of West Brom away, Crystal Palace at home. I thought Leicester at home, it was terrible. These are bang average sides. The Januzaj's got talent. I said that. I slagged him off. But he wasn't running. He wasn't running into any cul-de-sacs on Saturday. And I hope it continues, mate.
I was just going to say, it's just because we're passionate and we want to see him reach his potential, because he's a United boy, you know, he might be from Belgium, but he came through the ranks and he's playing for his shirt, isn't he? So fair play to him.
Yeah, exactly.
John, let's come over to you, mate. Who was your man of the match, John?
Young for me, because he did it in both halves. I know people gave it Rooney, but apart from his 2 goals, I didn't want nothing more than he normally does. But Young, first half, you couldn't complain about anything. Second half, he was great again. But a player who seemed to, do you know, when Evans passed it back and the crowd got on his back, the one player who got up from that was Chris Smalling for me. He was running with ball, looking direct, not looking back, and setting up the attacks. He seemed to get what the fans wanted and tried to do it, to be fair. So he was good and all, but I'd give it to Ashley Young, just for both halves, to be fair.
Yeah, so far I'm a little bit torn between Rooney and Young. It's currently 1-2. Who are you going for?
Yeah, it's definitely between those two. But the spells of what I saw of Young, really good. You know, I haven't seen that for a while with Man U so far this season. You know, he had that shot, and it kind of looked like it was going wide. Took a deflection, I think, of Sunderland and hit the bar. But I think I'm going to give it to Rooney. I think just for the fact he's been put back in that striker position, he's got 2 goals to his name. He's got the same 3 points, so I'm going to give it to Rooney.
Oh, panel is torn, everybody. 2-2 at the moment. Let us know who you think your man of the match is. You can either tweet us at the United View, or you can comment in the comment box. Paul says Januzaj always plays well against Sunderland. Dibadob says Chris Smalling has been really good this season. I've got to say, apart from City, he's been mildly all right. Paul says, I think Young is liking this Louis van Gaal stuff. Looks like a player reborn. Matt says Fellaini could rival Young on that. He's still not a well beat up, but he has improved and he's been playing better than he did last season. Having a look at more comments here. Young for mine, Flim Flam says, the United man says, my man of the match has to be Herrera. Yeah, I've got to say, Herrera just got the job done, didn't he? Quietly, smoothly, but he did it. He really did do it. I think him and Blind created, well, no, they did 30 more passes than the whole of the Sunderland team managed for the full game. Them 2 alone in the midfield, so fair play to them. Jamal says Ashley Young is his man of the match, and we will go to this one over here, to Paul, who was talking about Johnny Evans, says he takes the easy option all the time. He's lost his bottle. Let's move on. Let's talk about Newcastle. Now, we do this at the end of every one of our Sunday shows. We look ahead, and this time we're looking towards Wednesday. Yeah, we've got another game coming up, and another important one, Pete, away to Newcastle. Some special moments at St James's Park, that Rooney volley. If you want to go way back to when the Keegan was talking a lot as well. You know, a lot of great times against Newcastle. What are you expecting this time round?
Oh, yeah, it's a hell of a place to go as a supporter. It's a hell of a place to play. It will be a tough match, and I think what we certainly don't want to do is let them go ahead, because once you get their crowd behind them, they're hard to shift. And I think it gives a bit of 3-0 whacking a couple of years back up there, I seem to remember. But one thing United are good at the moment doing is holding the ball, keeping possession. I think probably a bit too much. But Van Gaal likes control in the games, and what that does is make our defence hard to score against. And so I'm looking for another clean sheet and, Rooney to score again. And if we can get the balls down the wing and through to Falcao, that would be great. He's not getting the service he needs. It reminds me very much of Van Nistelrooy, and we used to bang the ball into him from Beckham and whoever was on the left, Giggsy or whatever, and it'd always be on the end of it. And Falcao needs something like that sort of service. So if we can get forward in numbers quickly, then I'm going for a 2-0 win at Newcastle.
Oh, that's relatively positive. Why not? Let's celebrate positivity on tonight's show.
It's only Newcastle.
I'm acting like it's a top 4 rival now, aren't I? Comment in the comment box or tweet us at the United View. Steve, of course, Newcastle is always one of the hardest away fixtures of the season. So does our away form really worry you at the moment?
Yeah, I said last week that if we don't go up there and get a win, then I fear we probably could have blown top four. And I'll stick by that, to be honest. Newcastle's one of them that they're always going to get up for when we're in town. They've given us a pasting, like Pete said. I think we got beat 3-0 about 2-3 years ago. Phil Jones' own goal. Demba Ba scored, I remember. We were absolutely woeful that night. We have had some shocking performances up there, but Rooney has a knack of scoring up there. We've given him a good guarding a few times. It's one of them that they like attacking football, and so do United, and they're always fairly open, but obviously they haven't got a manager, and like Pete said, our manager likes controlling games. So I still think we've got enough to beat them. I watched a bit of the highlights on Saturday. I mean, Villa are really poor. I mean, Sherwood's just getting the scores down in a minute. That's all he's doing. They aren't getting beat 2-3, 4-0. They're just getting beat 1-0. And I mean, the goal was again poor defending. I think we've got enough to cause Newcastle problems. Honestly,
hopefully,
even though we have been terrible away from home.
Yeah, no, that is true. And to be honest, Flim Flam kind of agrees here with that. Newcastle is shocking. We should towel them good and proper, which hopefully we'd like to do if we're being optimistic. But we've also got to remember, you know, as Matt says, it could end up very similar to the West Ham game with the way they play at home. Hello as well to King James, who says on Boxing Day, Newcastle were awful against us. And they were, but then we also played well that game. I mean, we played probably one of our best games of the season on Boxing Day. Paul says, indeed, Newcastle have been poor since Pardew went. It's there for the taking. The United man says, rather Blackett plays than Evans. John, how worried are you? Obviously, as we said, Newcastle is a tough game away. Our away form isn't great. And then you see the team sheet and Johnny Evans is starting because Luke Shaw is still out. Is that a worry for you? Is our defence a worry?
I'm not worried about our defence against Newcastle. I'm just worried about us not taking our chances or anything, and then their crowd will get into it at like 0-0, as they do. We've got loads of fans up there, and they all hate us, to be fair. So it's just one of them where they could nick it 1-0, or, you know, it's just like our away form, like people going about, oh, Newcastle are crap and that. But you look at Leicester away, when the fans get behind a team and the players it's like a cup final for them. So they're going to prove themselves. Like every game, like West Ham got beaten 3-1 by Palace because they couldn't be arsed. And it's just, they always turn up against United and it's annoying. And my best mate's a Newcastle fan, and also it makes it worse when they beat us. So,
well, hopefully not on Wednesday, mate. Yeah, hopefully not on Wednesday. Liam, is there anyone we should be watching out for in terms of in that Newcastle team? Obviously, Gabriel Obertan coming off the bench, baller.
No, I think if you're going to look for a main threat, it's got to be Papa Cisse. You know, he got the goal against Aston Villa yesterday. So I think he's going to be a man that, you know, whoever his defence, I presume maybe Johnny Evans again, Chris Smalling maybe. He's going to be the biggest threat. Sissoko as well. So it's more, they're quite, yeah, like I say, the 12th man at Newcastle, they got such a big fan base, the Geordies down at St James's Park, you know, the support is, you know, it's so intimidating. I've been there once on a away game a few years back, and it is quite an intimidating place to go. So, you know, I think Man U, I think they can go there for the win. They haven't got a manager, so it's kind of like, you know, every club needs a manager who will be there for the support, and they don't have that at the moment. Like I said, they haven't really got momentum. You know, I guess just staying up. They haven't really got, you know, no Europa League like they were in with Pardew. Not in the, I don't think they're not in the FA Cup anymore, or the League Cup, of course. So, you know, they haven't really got much to fight for. But then again, like you said, you know, United are, every team who plays United are always up for it. So it's kind of a hard one. But I think with the right formation, and if they go with a plan, they should be able to nick a result. It's just a hard one to call, I think, with Newcastle.
Yeah, see, a game like Newcastle away, I take grinding out a result more than a performance every day of the week. But when it's like home to Leicester or you know, or to Sunderland, you expect to see a performance as well. Pete or Steve, are any of you going to the Newcastle game?
I've got a ticket, Ben, and so I'm 90% sure I'm going. I've just got to sort something else out, but I'm intending to.
I was just going to say, enjoy your heights there. I mean, you're right in the corner at the top of the stand, aren't you, at
Oh
Newcastle?
yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, you can see your house from there, Ben.
Wave to me, wouldn't you? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's a great stadium, but the away fans really are high up. I expect the
It's
United.
7 flights of stairs, which for a man of my age, you know.
Well, you could get someone to give you a piggyback, Pete. We'll get someone in. Anyone who's going to Newcastle game, can you please meet Pete Molyneux by the doors for a piggyback up the steps, please? We don't want him damaged. We want him taken care of.
It'd have to be called Hercules, I think.
I'm looking at some of the comments and some people going back to last season's game, Pete. Oh, was it last season's game? Was it the game where Mata
4-0.
got a couple in? The game which Mata scored a few goals in anyway. A few fans getting, of course, behind Juan Mata at the moment. We're not seeing much of him. Do you think Newcastle will be a perfect game to throw him back into?
Yeah, sure, and I would rest Di Maria, maybe Januzaj. Mata's got great experience. He's a clever footballer, and he can score as well. Yeah, I think he got a couple up there last year. Yeah, I'd give Mata a run. Van Gaal is right when he says whoever United leave out at the moment, everybody then says that player should be playing. You know, so with a squad as big and as good as we've got, obviously in a way he can't win. But no, I'd give Mata a run at Newcastle. And last year, I think the crux is getting that first goal. If we go behind, it'll be really tough. But if we get ahead, I think we can keep control and maybe roll out, let's say, a couple of goals. But yeah, I'd give Mata a run. I like Mata.
Yeah, and of course it is an important game, as Damien says. Newcastle is a must-win. If we don't get the 3 points and Liverpool beat Burnley, we could drop to 5th. And that really is that's then grinding that out, and it's out of our hands once again. As Steve, of course, said, it's a must-win game, and you know it could be the game which we look back on if we do not get that top 4. If we do get that top 4, either way, it is a crucial game. Steve, let's come over to you then. Would you change anything from the Sunderland game? Any players you'd move about? Any players you'd take out? Any players you'd bring in?
I would really like to see Juan Mata play, but I think the only way we're going to make room for him is if Rooney's up top on his own, Mata's in the number 10 role, but then we've got to get Blind and Herrera in positions that they were against Sunderland, and they've got to stop Mawasa Sissoko and Cheick Tiote. Now, both of them are animals, so Mata is such a clever footballer, but he needs protecting behind him, and he's going to need Rooney to do the running, so it could work, but can I see him playing? Probably not, to be honest, no. Like I said, I think I'd rest Di Maria for a week. If you could, I'd send him on holiday and then tell him come back next weekend and get ready for Arsenal. Januzaj could probably keep his place. I think it's all about momentum, like you said there, Ben. United lost to Swansea. Now we beat Sunderland. Now if we go and lose to Newcastle, there's no momentum there. There's nothing. So, I mean, even a draw would be a disastrous result. United need to go down and win Wednesday. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, as I said, we could either look back at it as positive or we could look back at it as negative. It just depending where we finish in the league. If we win and we finish top 4, that might be the defining game. If we don't get the top 4, we lose. It could again be the defining game. Who knows? Football's a funny old game, isn't it? John, we'll come over to you, mate. In terms of looking at the team, looking at the side that played against Sunderland, is there any changes you'd make? Would you move Evans? Would you try and get Shaw straight back in? Would you go with Carrick even?
I won't play Mata. I think Mata's a better player at home than away, because at home we normally dominate. And to be fair, we're not creating enough chances, and Mata creates chances, so I do want him back in the team at some point. But I think the only thing I'd change is Di Maria. It's a hard one to drop him, but I think leave him on bench, and if things aren't going our way, bring him on, and we just start with Januzaj, whose confidence will be up. But I think we should play Fellaini just because they are quite a muscly side, Newcastle. They like to, get involved, and Fellaini can hold his own. And he's a threat from corners as well, which sometimes with our defence, apart from Smalling scoring 2, the other week or whenever it was, he does. He even nearly scored at end against Sunderland, and I had Rooney 3-0, so I was a bit annoyed. But it's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I've got to agree. And to be honest, I also want to just quickly say, on top of that, looking at Newcastle's form, and I've just had a tweet sent to me, and Liam, we'll come over to you with this. Newcastle's home form at the moment, they've won 6, drawn 4, lost 3 of their last 13 home games. I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park, is it, Liam? How important is it to go out there and hit them from the beginning and not concede that early goal, sorry?
Oh, 100%. Like I just said, I can't take anything for granted now. I think over the years I've definitely seen, a few years ago I'd have probably said, yeah, United Newcastle away, okay, that should be comfortable 3 points. But now I think anybody can beat anybody. I think that's the kind of league I'm seeing now. So Man U have just got to take into their hands. They've just got to go for it. You can't rest for this 90 minutes. You just got to go to St James's Park. It's going to be a tough place. They can't perform. It's been a bit steady. I know they lost 5-0 away against City. I mean, that's a fairly hard place to go this year. But it's hard to put into words. Like I said, like it can go either way. But United, they need to go there with 100% fight. Then we just have to call it. See how it goes. It's a hard one to call.
Yeah, it is a tough game to predict, and it's one of those. It's St James's Park, as the rest of the panel have said, every team turns up for United, don't they? Just every team, whether they're on bad form or not, goes out the window when United's in town. It's their cup final. So let's get your starting lineups then. Tweet us at the United View, subscribe, comment in the comment box, join us in the chat box, let us know what your starting 11s would be. Pete, we'll start with you. If you're Louis Van Gaal, what team would you be sending out to beat Newcastle?
Gosh, blimey. Well, I'd stick with most of what was there yesterday. I think he will use Smalling and Evans at the back, and same defence. Now he likes to play Young and Valencia as wing backs going forward at home more than away. He probably won't do that on Wednesday, I don't think. But I can see him crowding the midfield. Maybe certainly with Fellaini, as Jono said, because he can get stuck in. So maybe Mata in there, maybe Fellaini, Herrera. Oh, now who's going to put up front? Rooney and Rocco up front. Who have I missed out there? So you'd have Rocco at the back, you'd have Smalling, you'd have Evans. I'd probably go for no, I'm not making this clear, am I? Mata for Di Maria, and Fellaini for Januzaj as the only changes, I'll say, from yesterday.
Well, they both came on at different times, Pete. That's the only problem. So wait a second. Let's clear out your team. You're going
go on. Yeah, go on. Let's make that clear.
De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Evans, Rojo, right, in terms of the defence. Then Herrera in the midfield.
Yes.
And then you play Mata, Fellaini. Did you say Mata, Fellaini, and Young behind Rooney? Yeah?
Okay, yes. Let's leave Young in. I'd go on the attack. I would do that, but I'm trying to think. It's a difference between what I do and what I think Van Gaal will do. But let's leave Young in. Yeah.
Well, how about Pete? You grab a pen and paper, you write down your 11, and we'll come back to you. We'll let the other guys think on their feet first. You write down your 11, and we'll come back to you, mate.
I'm on with it.
Steve, he's got his chalkboard in the background. You can't see it here, but I can. Steve, what side are you going for against Newcastle?
I'd go with more of the same, to be honest. At the back, I'd change Evans, and I'd probably put McNair in. I don't know, Shaw. I don't think Jones will be fit. Blackett I do like, but I think McNair at centre back with Smalling, that could work. I don't want Johnny Evans anywhere near the side. Like I said, Di Maria for Januzaj, and I'm going to keep. Yeah, I'll keep Falcao up top. I'd love to see Mata in there. I'm not a big Fellaini lover. Again, he's going to be on the bench, and if we're one down, throw him on at the hour mark, but I think when we play him in a number 10 or a centre midfield, he just doesn't have any influence whatsoever. He struggles to control the beach ball sometimes, so check Toyota and Moasa Sissoko. I'll have a field day with him, to be honest. Evans, McNair, that'll do for me.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree. And Matt Burgess is having his say as well. De Gea in goal, Raphael, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw, if fit. Blind, Herrera, with Januzaj, Rooney and Young behind Falcao. Hello to Sai, who says De Gea in goal, Valencia, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw, Herrera, Blind, Young, Januzaj, Falcao and Rooney. 4-4-2 going on there. Hello to United Man, who goes for a 4-3-3 with De Gea, Raphael, Rojo, Smalling, Shaw, if fit. Blind, Herrera, Mata, and then Di Maria, Rooney and Adnan Januzaj playing as a free forward. Hello to Pasha, who's gone with De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Evans, Rojo, Blind, Fellaini, Herrera, Mata, Young and Rooney in a 4-3-3. Ross is going with De Gea in goal, and I've just lost his track. There it is. Valencia, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw, if fit. Blind, Herrera, Young, Mata, Januzaj, Rooney as his 11. We'll come back to more of yours in a minute. Jono, first of all, let's have your starting 11, please, mate. If you was on FIFA, if you were setting the team for Newcastle, who would you play?
De Gea in goal, Shaw and Valencia right back. I don't know why he's not playing Raphael, because I like Raphael, but Valencia's been there, so keep him there. And then Rojo and Smalling in middle, as long as Shaw's fit. But in the midfield, it's an odd one whether to go with Fellaini, because I know Toyota is injured for the game, so they might use Anita, who's not as strong. But I'd still start Fellaini, Blind and Herrera, and then Januzaj and Young on wings, and Rooney up top, and Falcao and Di Maria on bench. Just bring them on, get a goal, and they might get the confidence up. So
yeah, no, hopefully they can watch. I also think sometimes, John, for players, it's good to take them out and let them watch what other players do in their positions. Good footballers must get jealous if someone in their position does something right, surely.
To be fair, with Falcao, he, in my opinion, RVP is a very selfish striker. He will shoot if he's got a chance, even if he can pass it. But with Falcao, there was a chance against Burnley, I think, where he needs a goal, but he tried to give it to RVP. But that's the difference. I see Falcao works hard for the team, and RVP just don't do that, and it annoys me, so I'd keep Falcao over RVP. But, and to be fair, with the fixtures we've got coming up, this is where Falcao can show his worth. If he gets us a win over Liverpool or City or big goal against Arsenal, get some pressure off his back. Because I really like him, even though he hasn't scored. His work rate, when you're watching him from stands, you see more than you do on TV, and his work rate is very hard for a team and that. So I like it.
I'll say it now. If he scores the winners against Liverpool and City, I'll pay the 15 million to bring him to Old Trafford. I don't care. He grabs those goals. They're the most crucial goals of the season. I mean, come on. Liam, if you're looking at a starting 11, what do you reckon?
I think I'll do 4-2-3-1. I think I'll do Shaw. De Gea, then Shaw, Rojo, Smalling, Raphael. Then I go Blind and Herrera in the middle. I'd go Young, then Mata in centre attacking mid. I'm going to keep Di Maria. I think he's still got a bit of worth to show. I think he can do that in Newcastle personally. And then I'll stick Rooney up front because I think that's where he best can play. And he's got 2 goals obviously against Sunderland, and I think he can do it against Newcastle as well.
Yeah, and any other week we'd be calling for Di Maria to stay in the team, to be honest. So why not? You can't see me says De Gea, Valencia, Rojo, Evans, Shaw, Young, Herrera, Blind, Januzaj, Rooney, Di Maria. Paul's gone for a 4-2-3-1 like you, with De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw, Carrick and Blind in the middle. I really want to see them two play together. Could be a sham because they're two alike, but Carrick has never had a central midfielder partner with quality apart from Scholes, and it would just be great to see how they can work together. And then he goes with Januzaj, Herrera, Di Maria or Young with Rooney there as well. Having a look at one more of your tweets, and Natalie has gone with De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Evans, Rojo, Januzaj, Blind, Carrick, Herrera, Young and Rooney. Those are our starting 11s. Let's move on, shall we, to our score predictions. Pete, you've already given us a 2-0. You can stick with that. What's your scoreline and goal scorers for the game? Oh, no, wait a second. Let's have your team first. What team have you gone for?
I'll make it more clear than the mud that I gave you last time. De Gea in nets, Valencia, Smalling, Evans, Rocco, Fellaini, Herrera, Mata, Blint, Rooney and Falcao up front. And I'm assuming Shaw's injured and obviously Van Persie. If he did put Carrick in, I think he'd put him. The only thing he might do is put him in at the back because he's solid there and he knows the area, he knows the crowd. He's a Geordie lad. Yes, I'll stick with 2-0, but I think a lot hinges on, as I said before, that first goal. But you know, the talk is around as if we're kind of hanging on, like on a window ledge by our fingertips, to third or fourth place. With what's happened today, I think we can still catch City. You know, and these teams we're going to play, Ben, over the next 11 games, five of them are top-ranking teams at least. I think that'll bring the best out of United, and I don't think it'll be a cakewalk to second or third. But I think in the end we will do it comfortably, but it might not be pretty.
Yeah, no, that is true. Just quickly getting one more team in there. Sam Rafferty sent us a tweet. De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Rojo, Shaw, Adnan, Herrera, Blind, Young, Rooney and Falcao up top. To be honest, I'll take any of the teams. Let's just go get the 3 points, lads. Pete, let's have your goal scorers and score prediction, please, for the Newcastle game.
2-0, and I'll go Mata and Falcao.
Oh, there we go, Mata and Falcao. If you want to get involved, subscribe, comment in the comment box. Make sure you make us a home to your YouTube channels, as we, of course, have new videos every week. And tweet us at the United View. Steve, what are you going for?
I'm going to be ambitious, mate, and go 2-1 United. Goal scorers. I'm going to go Rooney, and you know what? I'm going to put Rocco. He loves it in the box. I can just see him. Scoring. That's what I'm going to go with. Like I say, ambitious 2-1 United.
Hey, classic Steve quote. Don't care how we get it. It can come off an opponent's arse. So let's just get the win. And to be honest, can't disagree, especially at the St James's Park. What about you, Jono? Your first prediction on the United View panel. What are you looking at for the Newcastle game? Go on, make us look like amateurs.
I just think we're gonna win 1-0 and just like get 3 points and go, kind of thing. Be solid, get a goal, and just get out of there. To be fair, because it is a hard place to go. So, and I think I'm gonna go. Fellaini's gonna get it because just like an header or something.
Yeah. He's brushes off his afro.
Well, to be fair, he normally scores away from home and all, so you know.
Yeah. Let's take it. Let's take the 1-0. That's Jono's prediction. Link Sink says, I reckon 2-1 to United. Rooney and Herrera to score. Ross goes with 2-1. Another Rooney brace. You can't see me. 3-0. Falcao, Rooney, Adnan. Ross says 3-1. Rooney to get 2 and maybe Blind to score. Hello to Pasha, who says, I bet Obertan would turn into Messi against United. Don't say that. Hello to Paul, who says, on crapper predictions, got it right at the weekend, said 4-0 and it was 2-0. So he got it half right there. He said, so he's going to say 6-0 and hope that it's 3-0. I like the logic there, Paul. The United man says 4-1. Wilson, Falcao, Herrera, and an own goal from Obertan. Oh, no, so you're going for 3-1, Sati. Obertan won't play. And he goes 1-0, Rooney to score. Jamal says 3-1, Rooney with a brace to Matt to score. And hello to Galen, who's with us, a Man United writer as well. It's good to have her back as well. Not seen you for a few weeks. 1-0 victory, Rooney with the strike. I'd take any result. Liam, you are neutral. Don't feel pressured to say United win. If you was putting on a bet, what would you do?
Well, I think personally, United will have to go to St James's Park and kill the game off. I don't think if you start doing the whole let's just get one goal business and then just sit back the rest of the game and invite pressure, I don't think it'll do United any good. So if I'm honest, I'd like to say I'm going to go positive. I think United will win the game. I think it'll be a 2-0 win. If they just do 1-0 and sit back, invite pressure, they have got a strong squad, Newcastle, even though they're not doing particularly well this season. I think I'll go for 2-0 United, and I'll go 2 goals again from Rooney, because I think he's got a bit of confidence and he'll be on form now. Yeah,
don't press Mourinho mode. That's Liam's advice. Let's not go into Mourinho mode at all. Do you know what? I'm also going to go for 1-0, but my goal scorer is going to be Daley Blind, and I reckon it's going to be a late one as well. Something to keep us on our toes. Something to keep Pete on his toes in a cold Newcastle on the 90th tier of the the St James's Park stand. I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go Daley Blind. And that's our Newcastle preview. Of course, it is live on BT Sport. I believe it's 7:45 kickoff Wednesday night. Oh, Come On United. And we will get a Come On United in just a moment as well. First of all, thank you to tonight's panel. Previewing Newcastle, we also reviewed the Sunderland game. Thank you for watching. Jono, thank you for coming on, mate. It's good having you on. Where can people find more from you?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, mate. And on Twitter, but I won't follow me if you don't like offensive tweets. But, you know, follow me if you want, I suppose.
Whereabouts are you, mate? What's your Twitter name?
Retford Red1234.
I will post it up as well at the United View. Go and follow him. He's great. Jono is brilliant. He doesn't bullshit about, doesn't care what anyone says. He says it how it is, and he has done tonight. Thank you, Jono. You've been brilliant. Also on the show this evening, Liam, our neutral, back from New York, which we've said once already. Where can people find you, mate?
You can find me at Liam P.O. Edwards. Good to be back.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Also on the show this evening, legend number 1, Stevie Boy. Steve, where can people find you, mate? The Alphabet and 7?
Yeah, that's it, mate. At SGCW7.
Yeah,
simple,
and of course
really.
we can find you over
For me,
there. We'll post it up at the United View. And legend number 2, the Royal Sir Pete Molyneux. Pete, where can people find you, mate?
Just simply at Pete Molyneux. And
mate.
it's been a pleasure to be on, Ben, and I've enjoyed listening to the other lads as well. Excellent.
And thank you for coming on, mate. Continuous support. Thank you for it. We couldn't do it without you guys. And of course, we do need to come on United. It is a preview show. So as we've got royalty on the show tonight, Pete, we want to hand the Come On United over to you. At the end of every preview show, we ask one person on the panel to give us their biggest Come On United to row us on to victory. So, with Newcastle coming ahead, let's hear your passion. I want your next door neighbours woken up, Pete. Let's have your Come On United to end tonight's show.
Come on, United!
Yes! See you next week.